I honestly didn't even really believe this song was going to get released. I thought it was just me toying around with, pop punk sounds. I had discovered new drum sounds and new guitar sounds, and like, maybe people will like this, and because I liked it. Fake Friend is definitely heavily inspired from that first Fall Out Boy record. I listened to that album on repeat throughout high school. It is like ingrained in my mind. I mean, literally, I'm sitting there writing the lyrics and I'm like, what's something that would flow the same way it flowed from those songs, and pay homage to that decade of music, really. I don't consider myself a fantastic songwriter. My first draft of this song, everything is completely different. And this is something I heard. I thought like I was the only one that did this, but I heard Chris Martin talk about this in an interview, and he was talking about writing Yellow, and they're like, why'd you go with Yellow? And everyone's like asking like, oh, what is the meaning behind that? And he literally said, he's like, that word just sounds good. Dude, that's like how I write like 80% of my songs. I was like, there's a word that should have an O sound or an A sound, or so it was kind of comforting to have somebody else say that. I would just be like, it's kind of following your instinct in a way, I guess. A lot of times the words don't actually make sense, but then you go in and you make them make sense with that foundation. Literally every instrument and every vocal, every take was produced like 2 feet away from me, right over at my computer. I do everything in-house, and I remember like 3 or 4 years ago, that very first riff in this song was like one of the first things I was just like toying around with. I had never really recorded like guitar like traditionally, like miking up like an amp. When I discovered Amplitude and like amp emulation, I was really excited. I found a really cool preset, so I made sure to save it, and eventually I was able to come back to it for this song. The guitar tones are cool. Honestly, I'm still kind of an amateur, I think, when it comes to like layering guitar sounds. When you go to try to combine different guitar sounds, it gets so complicated so quick. And there are 3 or 4 guitar tracks. There's at least 2 going at all times, and for the choruses, there's like 3 or 4. So it's just really tough, man, to be able to separate all those and actually hear them individually. Huge shout out to Tommy over at Big and Tall Studios for being my mixing engineer for this track, because his version sounds way better than my version. This song is probably impossible for me to sing live because there are so many words in such a little time frame, and they're all like right at the edge of my range. When your prints are on the trigger like a tonic and gin, well, I wanted you to pull it. I'll trade you the bullet for a knife. So recording, I just sang it one line at a time. I had to. One thing that slowly, I think is like making its way into all my songs is the group vocals sections. It's like 18, 20 recordings of me just yelling into my microphone. Fake friends! Fake friends! Fake friends! Fake friends! Drums were another thing that I wasn't, looking to spend the time and money to go to a studio and record the drums. I discovered the company that has really, really good drum samples called Robot Dog Drums. And they literally have an advertisement that's like, do you need pop punk drums? And I was on my phone like, yes, I do. I do need that. I was able to hook it up to my electric kit, and out of the box just sounded like so good. Like I felt like Travis Barker playing the drums. And there's also one film in there that is completely just designed by like dragging MIDI notes around. I'm pretty sure it's technically possible, but I also kind of don't care because it sounds cool. But everything else is yes, played by me, recorded by me. And it's one of the things I'm pretty proud of, man, is that, you know, I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I play guitar, drums, bass, and I come up with everything and I play everything. My favorite part is honestly like that Paramore style breakdown. I love how it came out. I love how it just sounds like a complete freaking wall of guitars. But my least favorite part of the song is something I actually think I had Tommy take it out and then I told him to put it back in. At the end of the song, you hear me like screaming in the background a little bit. If you listen closely, it's not good. I'm not proud of it, but you know what? The spirit is there, so gosh darn it, I'll leave it in.